The war of words between former Finance Minister Yashwant Sinha and the current Finance Minister Arun Jaitley is only intensifying. Speaking exclusively to India Today, Yashwant Sinha has rendered a point-by-point rebuttal of Jaitley's attack. He said that not only had he worked to tackle the high NPA once he took over as Finance Minister in '99, but also presided over the empowered group of state finance ministers, the predecessor of the GST Council, and worked effectively to ensure the smooth passage of state VATs. He also said that he will not allow his son and his opposing views to denigrate it into a personal duel, how much ever the BJP would like it to do. Take a look at this India Today exclusive.
GST has been, as I've said in my article, has been badly conceived, badly designed and badly implemented, with the result that it has had, instead of a beneficial impact, a completely deleterious impact on businesses and economy. And I will not allow the discussion, the debate on this, the issues that I have raised, to degenerate into a personal feud. I will not allow it to degenerate into a father and son duel. I will not allow that. That is the attempt of the government. I am not going to allow it. So I took a variety of steps to ensure that the NPA problem was tackled, and as he himself admitted, that the economy improved, the Reserve Bank of India reduced rates. Reserve Bank of India did not reduce interest rates in a vacuum. I first reduced the administered interest rates, which were very high in budget after budget, and then the RBI was compelled to reduce its bank rate.
India at 70, Modi at 3.5, and a job applicant at 80.
It's too cheap a thing to say, and I don't want to compromise my dignity by even replying to this.
Our senior leader, Mr. Advani, was sitting next to me, and he said, when you speak in Parliament or outside, speak on issues, avoid speaking on persons.
उन्होंने कहा कि आडवाणी जी ने उनको ये मशवरा दिया था कि भैया पर्सनल अटैक मत करना, ठीक है। अब मेरी बात को उन्होंने पर्सनल अटैक माना भी, तो हमको आडवाणी जी ने नहीं कहा था कि भाई पर्सनल अटैक मत करना, उनको तो कहा था।
Well, as the economy faces a downward turn, new NITI Aayog Vice Chairperson speaks to India Today in his first interview after taking over. Rajiv Kumar says that the economy will be back soon on track. Listen in.
Each time the government has been cornered on the state of the economy, the narrative has swung between defensive to offensive to denial and at times defiance. We have with us the man responsible for India's policy making and the head of India's premier think tank, Dr. Rajiv Kumar, Vice Chairman of NITI Aayog. Dr. Kumar, let's start with what is the current narrative as far as the government is concerned. Are we or are we not in a state of slowdown?
We are in a state of a beginning of a recovery, and I say this quite.
You're saying that, but what's the evidence?
Yeah, and I've said that because this slide that you're talking about, the slowdown, actually has a long history. It began about 5 years ago, towards the last 2 years of the UPA. And if you notice, the 9.3% growth that was there was before, in 2012-13.
Yeah.
And since then, the slide had begun, and this was the downswing of the business cycle. And my own thinking is that this has bottomed out in July 2017. So if you look at the Purchasing Managers Index, the PMI for manufacturing, that was at 47.1 in July, and it rose to 51.3.
Very marginal.
Well, 4 points, and it became above 50.
Yeah.
When it shows, and above 50, shows growth. Same thing with the services. It became 47. It has just about inched closer to 50. So that's the second part. The third part is that all the high frequency data that you see, and 2 or 3 let me mention to you, is, for example, the civil aviation growth, 16.7% April to August over the same period last
Civil
year.
aviation, auto, those were sectors which were already growing.
No, but the point is that commercial vehicles, for example, had not grown.
Yeah.
And it is now shown a growth of something like 14%.
Yeah.
Now, which substitutes for the lack of borrowing from the public sector banks.
That's right.
The private sector banks have already started lending out much more than what they were doing earlier. And there are several other such high frequency indicators that I could mention to you. For example, steel and cement sales have begun to rise.
That's because the government push, the investment push.
But whatever reason, we are not going into the reason, but the point is that there is an upturn in critical sectors of the economy, electricity also again rising. So, these are not indicators which reveal an economy in the so-called tailspin or doom and bust and, going towards depression, etc. The hyperbole.
The worst quarter last month.
Yeah, but that's
meeting P. Chidambaram, you were saying that this quarter is going to be equally bad.
No, but
and probably, this year fiscal, as far as this fiscal is concerned, is gone.
But that is where he is completely wrong, I'm afraid. And that is where he is not being what he would have been had he been a Congress finance minister and had the Congress been in power. He would have pointed out to you the same indicators that I am saying. And I accept, as I said, that the economy has bottoming out. Exports have been rising for the last 14 months.
Only 1 month.
14 months.
Only 1 month.
Consecutive 14 months, they declined.
But they've been growing, but the rate of growth has been much lower.
But have they been growing or not? So they're not.
But Dr. Kumar, we were growing at 25-26%.
Hello, but that was 36 months earlier.
We are at 3%.
For 24 months, you declined.
Yeah.
And you forget that.
Yeah.
You see, and that is where the external demand was contributing negatively to your growth, which is one of the reasons for your slide. But at least you begin to rise again. As the global economy is turning up now after a very long time. We don't realize that the 3 years that the government has been in office, the global economy has been in complete turmoil.
Yeah.
And we have had to face that. Yes, the petroleum prices dropped, and that was a lucky break for us. But nonetheless, the demand both in the Americans and Europe and Japan, etc., was way down.
That's precisely the criticism the world economy is growing, but now our exports are
also rising too.
Rising at a very slow rate.
But but this is
Dr.
where
Kumar, 3% versus 22, 23, 24%.
Again, but this is 3% versus 22 when the 22 came when the global trade was rising at 10%, and the global economy was absolutely buoyant. So why not compare likes to likes?
Okay.
And why not give the credit where it is due?
But
hang on. But let me just complete one. This, despite the fact that there have been two huge structural reforms that have been taken into in this 12 months, the last 12 months, which are going to make your economy far more transparent, cleaner, more sustainable, and more resilient. Now, why aren't we getting if anybody would have done these two huge steps about formalizing the economy, making it cleaner, pushing back the black economy and the informal sector, people should have said, wow, this and 5.7% growth is amazing. The last quarter before this government took over, the first, January to March 2014, the growth was only 6.1%.
Yeah.
You inherited a government, you inherited an economy which had already slowed down. The figures in contrast is that the ESI numbers, employee state insurance numbers, have increased by 10.6 million over the last 3 years.
So you think the jobs are growing in the states?
I don't know. It's for you to decide. I don't deny for a minute the fact that the attainment on the ground versus the aspiration of our young people, there's a huge gulf today.
Right.
And jobs is a real issue.
Right.
And jobs have to be good quality jobs. Jobs have to be in the formal sector. The informal sector jobs will not work for us. And I think that's an issue where I don't need to concede, because that's an issue which successive governments in this country for the last 10 years, if you don't mind, have not paid enough attention to. We know that you had to create more than 9-10 million jobs per year. We've never created as many as that.
Growth in the agri sector is down from 8.6% in 10-11 to 4.9%.
8.6% was after a very bad year.
Yeah.
Very hugely bad year, a negative year. So let's not get those numbers. Let's not get spurious
to 4.9 right now.
4.9 is very good. If you look at the average is about 3% for a long term. So 4.9 is not bad at all. But the point is that agricultural distress is a result of the non-modernization of this agricultural sector. Now, for the first time today, we are talking about trying to double the farmer's income. And NITI Aayog is at the moment, for example, trying to set up about a dozen pilot projects where we would try and de-risk the farmer, where we would try and pool in his land. We've got, as you know, the brand.
Will you have the assurance of
that? The very important model land leasing law, which has been passed, which assures the farmer that his land will not be alienated. The industry will have the confidence when it gets very clear that the rules of the game are now changed and that investment will not happen as it happened in the past. Fact is that the rules of the game have changed. There is a degree of uncertainty that the industry is faced with. Now that uncertainty is being eliminated slowly, and as they see that, they will come back to the investment cycle.